This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
Totally, yes.
It's an absolute riot, and the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time.
What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
This episode is brought to you by the world's first reposado from Tequila Herradura. Made with slow-cooked, hand-harvested agave sealed into oak barrels and aged 11 months. Before being enjoyed in your glass. Experience the world's first reposado. Tequila Herradura. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Tequila Herradura. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Herradura is a registered trademark. Copyright 2025 Brown-Forman Corporation.
It's Wednesday, Adams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2, begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome back, Criminal Mischief Nation, to another bonus episode. My name is Brandon. I produce the show along with Carolyn Osorio. Hello, Carolyn. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you again for gracing us with your talent and your presence for another bonus episode. We know that, your kind of milieu is the hard-hitting, ethical journalism, and that here you kind of knock yourself down a few pegs to roll around in the mud with me, and we all appreciate it. So thank you.
It's funny. I've actually thought a lot about that. I feel like it's sort of, you're not supposed to have fun when you're like all serious, And I think that people want you to stay in your lane. And I think that now more and more people are like, you know what? I don't really want to just stay in this lane because I'm not just this one person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't take away any of the credibility, or it shouldn't, to be, you know what I mean?
Yep,
I love
absolutely.
how society is evolving in that way, where it's like, people get to, fly their flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever they want to do.
You could do different things. There's different aspects to everybody. There's the buttoned up version, and there's the little kind of crazier version.
And I know, it's like, I feel like the same when you do your buttoned up version, like when we're on calls and you're like, what's happening here? It's
when
like
I'm professional, Brandon. Yeah.
I have to stop myself from laughing.
Professional Brandon's fun. My wife loves professional Brandon. Because she knows that just underneath, like, I'm going to make a dick joke or something like that'll piss her off.
Waiting for it. Yeah.
So, all right, so let's talk about this because, again, this is super cool. Like, the people in the beginning, the first like half of the show really had nothing to do with what was going on in actuality with the case. Yes, they were obviously related to it because they died because of it, but they were complete collateral damage. And you gave us all of their backstories on everything, right? Like, did we need to know there was an infidelity in their marriage? We didn't need to know that. And that they worked through it through therapy. I was rooting for these people. Okay. And then it turns out the story isn't even about them. That was amazing. That was great. It was great. But
I just felt like, you know what, whenever you're in these situations and the guy, it's like, oh, he's so good for it. Right. I mean, this guy was like so good for it. And it didn't have anything to do with him.
Yeah. I didn't think the guy was good for it. I didn't think he was. You know why?
Why?
I trusted him because he was honest about an infidelity. And he went to therapy, and that said, okay, you know what? Maybe he was telling the truth, that it was a one-shot deal with a high school ex, and it was like, whoa, man, I got to circle back, right? And they were both like, hey, you're here we go, all right. and he felt shitty about it. So shitty that he told her. Now, you're a long haul truckers have historically literally gotten away with murder because you're a long haul trucker, right? You're Mr. fucking anonymous. He could have easily gotten away with it. He cops to it. I love you. I want to stay together with you. Let's go to therapy. They go to therapy. They wind up getting married. They put it behind him. Okay. Great.
So you're rooting for him. Okay, great.
I was totally rooting for this couple. And the little girl, oh my gosh, the 15-year-old. Brutal.
Yeah.
Totally brutal. The one time where I was like, wait a minute, is this guy bad for this? When, why would he ask any chance this is cyanide poisoning? Like, how would he know that? How would he know the symptoms of cyanide poisoning? It wasn't like the consumer market was blanketed with true crime like it was today, where he might have picked it up on an episode of Dateline. No, it was like, did he just know that?
Well, I think given the Tylenol murders, you know, that being in the back.
Yeah, it was about 4 years. Yep.
Right. And then I also think that they were popping Excedrins like candy. So I think that like he could be like, yeah, you know, it's not like, you know, you take 2 every other week or something, or once a month. I mean, they're taking them every day.
Every day, you know, for the caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, you know, I think he was like, what else could it be? Like, he's sitting there, you know, she was perfectly healthy, and there was, what could it be? You know?
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really, really scary. And that poor teenage girl. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That just like was an arrow in my heart. I just felt like when she was calling her mommy, I just was like, oh my gosh.
But so I take all of these notes as I'm holding up to the camera right now, right?
Okay.
For that couple that now I don't need them anymore. I'm like, okay, now I have to start all over again with the
I'm sorry that I gave you a little bit of drama. Okay. I'm sorry that I had to turn this into a little bit of a
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And so I have a remembrance of the Tylenol murders.
So do I.
Somebody was arrested, not the main guy, but somebody was arrested for, I forget.
So that's never been solved. And the deal with that is, because I remembered it too, but I didn't remember all the nitty gritty details. But what I needed to prepare for it, so I did a little bit of research. So there was a guy who wrote a note, letter.
Wrote the note to the manufacturer, right?
Right.
Yes.
And so they think that he did it, and he recently died.
Yeah.
And he has his whole crazy backstory. Like, yeah. So, and the FBI came out and basically they're like, we can't talk about it, but we basically think this individual did it. So I think that they really think he did.
Guy, right? So that guy that was arrested. All right. So in 81 or 82, my parents were still together, and we took a family vacation to the Bahamas. Okay. And staying in our hotel, this like all-inclusive kind of place, was a FBI agent, a youngish 30s like FBI agent. And he and his wife were there, and they befriended my mom and dad. And this guy's claim to fame was that when that guy that was arrested got perp walked, he was handcuffed to him, right? Like, he was the guy that
claim to fame. Oh,
right. Like, that was his thing. Like, I was handcuffed to the Tylenol perp on the perp walk. And I remember that. And then the other thing I remember.
Wait, do you remember your parents talking about it with the guy? And so
yeah, absolutely. Totally. Okay. It's weird what you remember from when you were a kid. I remember, because this is obviously well before the digital age. And so when you're showing pictures, like, they're actual photographs of stuff. So the guy had a picture of it. Okay.
On vacation?
But I think he might have been down there for some sort of seminar about it.
Oh, okay.
Right. So there were like materials that he was going to be speaking about. And then there was a picture of him by his car. Okay. And this guy, talk about, he was a fucking cop through and through. This guy, he had a vanity plate on his car, that MKMYDY, make my day, like the Dirty Harry thing. That was his license plate. I don't know why I remember this, but just listening to this episode, all of those memories just like kind of came rushing back. You know what else happened on that? I remember the hotel, the activities director, like the real bubbly guy, like, hey, we're gonna go do this. We're gonna play volleyball in the pool and da 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 da. And he took me and my brother to play a game of lawn darts when they were still actually the weapons that were killing people.
Love the 80s.
And I didn't trust my brother because he was throwing them at me, because that's what older brothers do. Yeah. We went parasailing on that trip, and I didn't weigh enough to go by myself. All right. So I had to go
Oh
up
my
with
gosh, you got lugged with your brother.
I had to go up with my brother. And the whole time he had his hand on the carabiner saying, I could drop you anytime I want. I was terrified the entire fucking time I was up there. Yeah.
Man, your older brother and my sister were probably like pen pals.
Absolutely. It was
wow.
It was a really good time. But so things like that. And then in the movie, now I'm forgetting the name, Michael Mann film, The Insider, about the tobacco industry, about the guy who was the whistleblower of the tobacco industry.
Who was the leading person in that?
Russell Crowe.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Crowe and Al Pacino. Al Pacino was the 60 Minutes reporter. True story.
Mm-hmm.
And Russell Crowe had this great monologue about why, because Pacino was asking, why are you doing this? Like, you were set up, you're making millions of dollars, you're in an industry that's not going anywhere. Why are you doing this? He said, because, there's a doctor at the end of my name, whatever. He's a doctor, and he's a chemist, but he's a doctor. He said, and what I saw all these 7 CEOs lie, saying that nicotine wasn't addictive. And I know that that wasn't the case. I know that it was highly addictive, and that cigarettes were actually nicotine delivery devices. Like, that's what they were referred to within the industry. He said, and now conversely, he said, look at Tylenol, right? It was an isolated just to the Midwest in Chicago. But as soon as the CEO of Tylenol knew that his pills were potentially harming people, he immediately ordered every single Tylenol product off the shelves everywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. Not like, well, let's just keep it to Chicago. No, everywhere. He goes, that's a healthcare professional right there. Boom. That's what you do. That is our burden. That is our responsibility.
Well, and they turned it around because of that, because they didn't try to hide it, because they stepped up big time. They came out with that tamper-proof seal. They did all the right stuff. And, their company survived, despite what this, made that.
They improved their reputation.
They improved it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's leadership in crisis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very important. So, okay. So as much as I want to talk about Sue Snow and Paul, and really wanted their marriage to work, and then the unfortunate early death.
Well, here's the thing that I think is important about that is, you're just going around in your life, right? You're just doing your stuff, and people have their problems. I mean, it worked for them. It was working for them. And yet all these people started coming out of the woodwork, starting to say all this stuff about them. And it's like, she's been murdered. Yeah. And, he's like, he loved her, and they had their problems. And it's like, it just sucks because, I'm sure, this was awful being considered a suspect. And this could have gone, if you would have had one of those detectives that are like, I know he's good for it, I'm going to, I mean, he could have gotten railroaded. You know Absolutely. What I mean? So, Absolutely. And people do all the time. And I feel like,
especially back then. Yeah.
Especially back then. So I think that getting to know the people and, that she freaking just was like collateral damage, like you said. And it just is she's sitting there talking to her daughter and like kissing her on the forehead. I love you. And then bam, 10 minutes later, she's on the ground, and that her daughter had to go through that.
Yeah. I mean, not to keep harping on this, but you even gave me the name of his fling in California. Her name's Mary. Did I need to know Mary's name? Did I? I got so invested in that story. Okay. And then it was just ripped out from under me.
Are you getting back at me because I make you care? Because I make you love people?
And then you just take it all away. You just take it all away. I invested so much into Sue and Paul. Okay. Mary, and I understand Mary had a thing for Paul.
Because what? It's just like so awful. Your dirty laundry being like, everybody knows it. Everybody knows. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're just living their life and they have this stuff going on, and then all of a sudden this happens, and they're thrust into the spotlight, And it's like, he says, oh, well, she took the Excedrin for migraines. And then he said that she took it for caffeine. And it's like, well, you know what? Just because you tell your doctor one thing, it might not be true because you don't want to be judged or you don't want to be whatever,
It makes you fearful of accidentally revealing an inconsistency in a story when you're talking to the police. Because then you're like, uh-oh.
I mean, and you could be completely innocent. Like when I was doing my searches, I was like, great, foxglove, cyanide. Like if people looked at my search.
Oh, I know. You should have seen mine when I was researching Son of Sam. Holy shit.
I know. I'm like, I didn't tell my husband what I was researching. And so I'm just like, I think I need to, so he doesn't start to worry.
So now let's talk about Bruce Nichol. Another just stand-up Northwestern, guy who just lives in his trailer and about the property, wants to go look at hawks flying around, right?
It's funny because I had a bunch of police reports, and when I first heard hawks, I thought that she was talking about Seahawks. I was like, okay, he's
like
literally
watching football. No, he wants to watch actual birds flying in nature. Nature's very comforting to people.
I know. Yeah. It made it even better. Like I've gotten home from a hard day. I want to take my shower. I want to go sit on my deck. I want to put my feet up and I want to watch the hawks.
I want to watch hawks fly around. When I was living in Hollywood, which make it sound so far away, it's 10 minutes away. But when I was living in Hollywood, we were on this street, like right in between Sunset Boulevard and Hollywood Boulevard, like in the middle of like kind of awful urban kind of decay. But this one street with several blocks, like 3 or 4 blocks, were really nice, right? With old bungalow style houses and old growth trees and stuff. And there were hummingbirds, tons of hummingbirds. And
you're speaking my language. Oh yeah.
But first of all, I learned a lot about hummingbirds, that they're extraordinarily territorial, and they will fuck up another hummingbird if they threaten their food source.
I have never seen hummingbirds go after each other.
Carolyn, like I'm telling you, oh man.
I've heard of crows. Like you don't want to mess with crows.
There were the green chests and the red chests, okay? And I would just be sitting there on my stoop and you'd hear like I'm like, oh, there's a little red dude and he's gonna chill and he's gonna get the thing. And then a green fucking kamikaze dive bombs them and they're all like spinning around and they made these weird noises and they take off into the woods, to the point where I consulted a bird expert. I said, how do I get the hummingbirds to stop fighting? Because it really upsets me. Okay. There's enough food for all of them. I'll get more bird feeders. What do I have to do?
This is so funny. Oh my God.
And she said,
I've never heard. I have a hummingbird feeder on my deck and we get them and I just sit there and just
They're fighting. I swear to God, they're fighting. And so I had to hang another hummingbird feeder at the far end of my house. Okay. Far enough away where one didn't feel threatened by the other, because they were 2 like clans, okay, of hummingbirds. That it was like fucking Game of Thrones, right? They were just like getting after it. And
I would have actually, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but this is something I would have loved to watch, because like when it was COVID and we were all stuck at home and we live on a lake and it got frozen, and somehow, I don't know if it was like a deer or somehow there was a deer carcass that was in the middle of the lake. Right. And so it was like Game on Nature, because we were all bored, we're all in the house, and we would like, first it was the coyotes that came down and they're walking in the lake, right? Then there's the eagles, because we have a bunch of eagles, and eagles are like, they're not like the majestic bird that people think.
No, they're vultures with a good agent.
Yeah. So anyway, it was really fun watching the all these animals come and like prey on this deer, and it slowly started sinking into the water. But it was literally like there. Oh, and then we have these river otters, and they had brought to our barge this like a hoof.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know. It was crazy, but it was so interesting. Like,
nature happening. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I get it, but I love that kind of like I would have loved to see the hummingbird stuff happening.
Yeah, and I felt bad because it took me a while to realize that they were actually fighting. I'm like, oh, they're playing and they're swarming and they're having a good time with each other. No, they were trying to kill each other for the sugar water that I hang in a little feeder on the eve of my house.
So did you end up figuring it out where they felt like they could go to their own places?
I did. I put up a couple of different feeders. It seemed to work. I'm in touch with the person who lives there now. They love the birds just as much. And they say that it doesn't seem to be very violent right now. So that makes me happy because I was a little worried about it. But and now we have a bunch of squirrels that we feed in the backyard, which is fun because the squirrels are really nice. All right, so listen. So motiveless murder, difficult to solve. Okay, I spoke with Agent Ken Lanning, who you've spoken to for a season in hell, and he same thing, but he called it homicide no apparent motive, which is the same thing, just a different phrasing. That's really, really difficult to solve. Okay, so that's what they thought was going on here. And so it was interesting when the second victim, when Bruce Nickel died, okay, if Sue Snow hadn't died, they never would have known, right?
Even after Sue died, they would have never known. He was already like natural causes. He had emphysema, stamp. Like,
you don't think they would have made the Excedrin connection? No,
absolutely not.
This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
Right now, at the Home Depot, you'll find storage solutions made to fit your needs. Grab an HDX Tough Tilt to protect your tools. Or keep your sports equipment contained with reinforced snap-fit lids. Or stack up and make better use of your space with bins and totes built to last. Whatever you're storing, we've got the gear to keep it organized and protected at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Hellmann's believes they can turn any mayo hater into a lover. So, if you know someone who thinks mayo equals bland, show their taste buds the truth and challenge them to try Hellmann's flavored mayo. With irresistible flavors like Hellmann's spicy mayo, garlic aioli, chipotle, and Italian herb, they'll be eating their words. Challenge haters to try Hellmann's flavored mayo and get them to eat their words. Learn more at hellmanns.com/eatyourwords.
Although they did go back and look at other deaths and like run extra tests, so maybe. But right. I don't know. I don't think so, because I think they probably would have. They did that after Bruce. They ran all those tests on people who had died, and
similar facts.
Right, and like, okay, let's double check. But I think it was Bruce that prompted that. It wasn't Sue, because I think they really wanted it just to be a one-off. They did not want to deal with what it could have potentially been. You know, how many people could have potentially died? It's crazy. You know, an entire family could have died, you know, more.
All right. So I have questions, but so let's talk about Stella and Cynthia for a second. So Stella, Bruce's wife.
Yep.
Not happy.
No.
Okay. Had some insurance on the old man.
Well, you know, I think that she's so secret squirrel that he didn't even know that it was on him.
Right.
You know, like that's
like his signature on the
Yeah.
There are allegedly
Yeah. Yeah.
handwriting analysis
Mhm.
points toward a forgery. I mean,
Yeah.
she was a
That's
fucking
cold-blooded.
psychopath. Well,
Yeah.
listen, it's one thing. It's one thing to plot a murder of your husband to, to just Black Widow it, right? To like, I want the money and I want him dead, but I just want the money. It's another thing to, in an effort to cover your tracks, you sprinkle murder around your region for any random person that's going to pick it up and
And
in a
not
treasure
care.
bottle
And be
and not
totally
give a
okay with
shit.
that. And not care at all. That's what was interesting and why
That
it
is like that's I mean, I'm sorry, but that is like that's I hate saying next level, but that's like next level like psychopathies. She's sociopath. Like what like who it has that little regard for human life, right? That they would do that because you have no idea who it's going to be. You have
And you
no
don't
idea.
care. And you
That
don't care.
couldn't
And
give a
and
shit
you
less.
and not only that, but, like, there has to be something about, like, she knew that lawsuits would happen. Before she really became, like, this suspect, like, her and Paul had filed a lawsuit against, Bristol Myers
Right,
for the, um, death stuff for,
right, right.
I don't know, what would you call that? It's not real really their fault, but I guess they didn't know if it was their fault or not,
Right.
Bristol.
So I mean, there's all these weird corporate things like
Right.
lack of like institutional control or oversight, or how did they get out of your factory? What's your quality control
Yeah,
issues?
so
Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Thank you. I kind of lost my head there for a second. But
yeah.
yeah, like that. And she was going to be standing up on the court steps, knowing what she
As
did.
the victim, right?
Oh, the
Oh,
victim. I mean, that's
they're
got
the
to
bad guys. Yeah. Ah.
right? Right?
It's insane. So, well, it wasn't clear if it was. I missed it. I apologize. Was were the bottles full to the every capsule in the bottle was a cyanide pill?
Okay, so I'm not sure about Bruce's, but like for example, with Sue's, 9, there were 9 left that had cyanide in them in the
Out
bottle.
of And she took 2,
Out of
so
like yeah, out of
11
6,
total out of 60. So
yeah,
49 were actual Excedrin and 11 were cyanide?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's just like Paul
Yeah.
dipped his fingers in there, and it's like he could have. I mean, he just completely. I mean, has to be thanking his lucky stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, how close.
And so she made the pills in her little trailer, right?
I again because I didn't want my search engine to be cyanide. Um,
She crushed the cyanide in her fish algae bowl, right?
I don't know if you crush it. I don't know what form it comes. Okay, I don't know if it's like a liquid and then you. I don't know, Brandon. I really don't.
Come on,
I
come on.
I don't. I don't want to know, and I don't want my.
But then, yeah, you have to be able to make it into a pill. It has to form into a pill. Do you
I
have one of
know.
the little
So that's why
forming things?
so I did think about it, and I'm thinking maybe it was a liquid. So you just put it over the liquid. You put the liquid over the capsules. I don't
Over
know.
the existing pill?
Oh, right. The capsule, you pull it apart and then you put it inside.
Right. So, all
Right.
right. So now I'm all right. So now we're getting somewhere because I wasn't really sure. So it wasn't a solid tablet. It
No,
was
it
a
was a capsule.
capsule,
Yes.
like one of those
Yes.
gelatin capsules that
Right.
dissolves in your stomach. Okay.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So, and it has like the little pellets in there that look like
Yeah.
candy, right? But they're
Yeah.
not candy, people. It's
Yeah.
medicine.
So yeah, she
So
must
she
have crushed
opens
it.
those things.
Yes.
Okay, now it's making sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking
Yeah.
notes here.
Yeah.
So she opens them up. She either shit cans the good medicine or keeps some of it and then just and fouls the stuff with the cyanide.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
drip some cyanide in there. Who knows? But how
Yeah.
do you even get dosages that will kill you in 10 minutes back then? Does she
I
go to the library and
they couldn't trace it back to her. That's the thing. Wherever she got it, they were never able to trace it to her. At least I don't think they were. From what I
right.
understand, they weren't, So yeah, I don't know.
So talk to me about Cynthia, because it must have been the daughter. No picnic for her, putting her mom away for life, right?
I mean, I just feel like with her, the jury was out as to whether or not, like, if she's sitting there, her mom is sitting here complaining about Bruce. I hate this guy. He's won't take me partying. He's a lug. He's like good for
God
an
damn him for getting his shit together and stopping drinking and everything and watching the goddamn Hawks.
I know. It's literally like, okay, just walk out the door. Okay, go meet somebody else. Go meet Joe Blow at the honky tonk.
She needed some seed money. Right? That was obviously her plan, was to leave, but she wanted to finance her trip.
And I know. So the daughter, though, I mean, people were kind of like, well, why didn't she just go to the police before Bruce died? Why did you, if your mom was telling you all these plans that she tried to kill him twice with Foxglove, but it didn't work. I mean, wouldn't that be the time?
I guess I should have listened. Okay. Let me go. AK police. I think I know who did it.
So I think that the motivation for the money makes sense, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the woman. So I can't say, but I think one could make that argument of like, well, why didn't you just go to the police? If you knew that she was trying to do this stuff to him, maybe you should have but I think, maybe people, even when faced with, they just don't want to believe. Maybe she thought her mom was just venting and that she really didn't do it. We tell ourselves things just to kind of move on, like you just don't want to have to deal with something, So I don't know, Brandon.
It really brings into stark contrast the trust we put in the items that we buy at the fucking supermarket. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Because we just trust and put it into our bodies.
I know.
Because something is glued shut and a thing is sealed, right? Like, gotta be safe, right? Like, I mean, haven't you ever like really wanted like an Eggo or like a Steakum or something, and maybe the box was open already? You're like, fuck it, I'll be okay.
No.
You've never done that.
No.
Oh, I've totally done that.
No, I'm the type of person where it's like if I'm at the store and there's like a dent in the box, I'm like, let me just move to the one behind it. Or like even like canned goods where if they get dented, I'm like, I'm not touching that. Because
you're far more discerning than I am.
You could get like botulism or something,
But then you'll go to a bar, right? And you'll drink a mixed drink that you order, and some 22-year-old waitress who couldn't give a shit about anything brings it to you, and a bartender that you don't know made the drink out of sight of you, right? And you'll drink that.
Believe me, you know what? I mean, we both worked in restaurants. I mean, I waited tables for years. I know the crap that people would do. And, it's just kind of like, I mean, I never saw anybody do something like that. I mean,
I've always found those stories to be exaggerated.
That's what I'm saying. I never actually, I've heard secondhand, but I've never.
Secondhand, but I've never.
Spit in food, I would not just sit there, even if the person was like the worst.
Absolutely not.
I know, exactly. I mean, people who do that, like there's no justification for doing that.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't. I've put up with that for a second, but it's but stuff like especially medicine, and food that shows up on a truck. I'm like, okay, I'll eat all of it. Yes,
but
please.
It's like our false sense of. That's why when things happen, and then we're all just so, terrified by how fragile it is, like 9/11, like everybody, you just didn't think that could happen. And it's like, oh yeah, it can absolutely happen. And then the people behind, it's like Oz behind the curtain, like they are totally messed up. And it's a miracle that,
we're
planes aren't running into each other.
We're so fragile. We're so exposed. We're so like everything is,
But you know what? You can't live your life like that.
Absolutely. When we don't, obviously.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like, we're having this kind of intellectual conversation, like, how do we do this?
Yeah.
And yet you have to, because the alternative is like, you just
to
can't.
live, to be a shut-in and to live in fear and just, and just to want to, come home and sit on the porch and watch Hawks.
I know. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, it's like, I just am like, how? And then she doesn't even like, she's holding coffee when she opens the door. Like, I mean, you gotta, What?
Stella's a gangster, I'll tell you. Like, she's just like, you are not going to rush me. Nope. You are not going to rattle me, not one bit. But I'll tell you, the fact that she sprinkled that death around the region in 4 additional bottles of Excedrin, she'll never get parole.
Yeah, it's ironic that she's asking for compassionate.
Yeah.
You know,
I would make it as painful as possible.
I mean, you just have to hear about Sue Snow's death and how,
of course,
and
Bruce's death, and she was willing to have that happen many, many more times, so she can get a couple hundred
to children. Because I think that Tylenol. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think it's 12 and up.
No,
so
so she can get a couple $100,000 and get a man she'd fallen out of love with out of her life. She was willing. All right, so let's say there were 11 pills per bottle, right, and 5 bottles, so she was ready to kill 55 people.
Absolutely, and I believe that she was, and I believe that she would have stood on the staircase next to her attorney, next to the victims, and crying.
They're the problem. Big Pharma.
Yeah. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Gosh.
So I mean, it's like I have to wonder when you think about those profiles. Like, I think it wasn't just about the money for her. There were all these other, I think that she wanted that attention. She wanted that spotlight that, would come with being on the front lines of something like this, because the Chicago Tylenol murders was like her inspiration. So she saw the news footage. She saw, like, I didn't realize this, but when I was watching that video, they were having people go in the neighborhood and like, don't have Tylenol, like through neighborhoods, like with the speaker.
Tylenol could kill you.
Like the ice cream man of old, right? Like they're like, don't have. I mean, it's like, and then they canceled Halloween. They didn't let kids go trick or treating, which is like, just to show that the level of fear,
and rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah. What did you think of Stella?
Go ahead. Say that again.
What did you think of Stella?
I told you, Stella's, just a gangster, like a real. It's tough for me to describe her in a way I would describe normal humans, because it's tough to get past the fact that she was willing, the extent that she was willing to go, and the sacrifices of the innocent that she was willing to make to get what she wanted. It's hard for me to ascribe human emotion onto her, just cold, empty, soulless, heartless, monster, basically, and I'm glad she's in jail, and honestly, I hope she's suffering quite a bit.
I just think it's ironic and in a wonderful way that her daughter turned her in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, who knows if they would have ever been able to charge her,
Yep. And she eventually gave it up and copped to it, right? And
I don't think she did for a long time.
You said she cracked.
Well, she took the polygraph. She cracked enough.
And completely. Oh, that's right. She cracked, took the polygraph, failed it.
Yeah,
did she? Yeah. And again, I'm sorry if I missed this. Did she let them know where the other bottles were, and they were able to collect them and get them?
No, they found that she was like a victim of this and still was, and they happened to. So one was at Sue's. She had 2.
So that's 3. So there were 2 more in,
and then there was 2 other ones that were found that were ready to kill people. And then when they pulled them off the shelf, and they had to test every single one, test every one.
Did she corroborate? Did she corroborate that there were 5 ever? Did she ever cooperate at all?
I don't know. I don't think that I think at some point, because when I was reading the latest thing, when she's like 87 and she tried to get this compassionate relief, release. I think that she has been denied getting out of jail twice. And I think that in her apology letter, she acknowledged that she had done it. I read it briefly, but at the time that it happened, I mean, she went through appeals, and she would say, because the aquarium clerk, I guess, got some of the money too. And so not only What?
No. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
The aquarium clerk.
What? What?
I just want to know how many fish tanks she had in her double wide. Is it a lot?
I know, that's the thing. Like, she obviously, I guess she took it on as a hobby because she couldn't
Yeah.
go, you know.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. Yeah.
And that's what wound up really one of the main pieces of evidence was they were able to trace that green algae.
Well, you just can't think of everything, Branden, when you're trying to come up with a complicated plan to murder.
I know. That's that whatever that philosophy is, that you leave something and take something with you, kind of, crime scene kind of evidence kind of thing. Yeah.
Because I'm sure she's like, I'm just going to put this cyanide in my. I kept thinking of it like those poultices or whatever.
Mortar and pestle.
Mortar and pestle.
Yeah.
And like, I'm
same,
gonna
exact same.
Yeah. And like, toil and trouble,
Right, yeah. Yes.
So I think that she just couldn't pull it together, and then the fingerprints at the end was just so beautiful.
Yep. Damn. Well, I'd love to hear more about Sue and Paul in a future episode. And I wonder whatever happened to Mary. Did she find happiness in California?
You know what? People go through shit, Branden. Okay,
I understand.
And their stories need to be told. Okay,
I was pulling for him. That's all I'm saying. And Haley, I'd like to know that Haley got past this real traumatic event in her life, right? Like, I'd like to know what Haley's doing. I hope she made it. Strong girl,
Absolutely.
But really, really interesting and kind of terrifying episode. That shows kind of how fragile we are, and there's a lot of chinks in the armor of society. There's a lot of way for bad people to get to us. So just reinforces the idea to just situational awareness. Be aware of what's going on around you.
You really can't. I mean, Sue could have done nothing different.
There was nothing that Sue could have done.
There was nothing that she could have done. I mean, there's no situational awareness that would have stopped that.
Maybe the pills looked slightly different before she put them in her mouth, right?
I'm sure it was at such a microscopic level, like that algae stuff.
Gosh. All right.
I know.
Well done. Thank you for the episode. I hope you enjoyed this bonus check-in. Criminal Mischief people, appreciate you sticking around. If you get a chance, head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a rate and review. It helps more than you know. And if you're so inclined, consider supporting the great companies that support our show. We could not do it without them. Nor could we do it without you, the great Carolyn Osorio. Once again, delivering the goods. Thank you, Carolyn. Anything you'd like to add?
Then we'll just see you next week.
Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe out there.
Bye.
From Cloud 10, Criminal Mischief is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Branden Morgan and myself. Music by Soundstripe. I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.